Beyond the Gates recap. August 19th, 2025. June's visit went well. Leslie's visit caused shockwaves. Here's what went down Tuesday, August 19th, 2025 on Beyond the Gates. When Barbara's ghost loomed large, Smitty held to the house rules, and Eva couldn't stop her mama from strutting her stuff. What happened on Beyond the Gates? On Beyond the Gates, Martin was welcomed by Smitty at the condo. The dads opened up a dialogue with Samantha and Tyrell to get into their feelings about meeting their biological mother, but they only wanted to talk about Martin moving back in. Smitty noted that Martin was there to support the teens, assuming they wanted to see June again. Both Tyrell and Samantha considered it enough that June had said what she needed to say the one time. The kids didn't desire another parent and thanked Martin and Smitty for giving them the family they already had. Samantha assured them that they had no intention of leaving them to live with June. Naomi called Martin, with an anxious June at her side. When Naomi asked about the kids' decision, Martin relayed that they had declined any further visits with June. Crushed to hear the news, June worried that she had done something to turn them off. Naomi also had to dash June's hope that she could have one more visit with the teens just to say goodbye. June felt that, to them, she was a reminder that she had abandoned them. June got increasingly upset and even suspected the Hawthorns would drop her off hundreds of miles away, so she couldn't find her way back to her kids' house. She exclaimed that nothing mattered and tore up her beloved picture of them, to Naomi and Jacob's shock. Naomi bore the brunt as June yelled that Naomi had ruined her life. Jacob reminded June that Naomi had saved June's life by getting her into heart surgery. For what? June moaned. Children who don't want me? Even the fact that Regina cared about her didn't soothe June, and she took off, telling Naomi and Jacob not to look for her. Jacob recommended that Naomi give June time to cool down, assuring her that June had mechanisms to help her process her disappointment. Naomi blamed herself for not only upending June's life, but the Richardson Smiths. When the lawyer became concerned that June would end up hurting herself or someone else, Jacob silently understood that Naomi wanted him to look for her. A glum Samantha was the only holdout when her loved ones wanted to hit a board game cafe. Tyrell smirked that his sister was rethinking her decision to see June. Both Martin and Smitty let Samantha know that she was free to change her mind if she wanted. Samantha was sure June's feelings must be hurt, which bothered her, but she agreed with Tyrell that June had at least gotten to see how their lives were better for her having given them away. Smitty offered for Martin to stay the night, reminding him that it was only because the kids needed him, as Tyrell and Samantha listened. After an unexpected knock at the door, Smitty told Martin they had a situation. June had stopped by unannounced. The fathers were sympathetic but told June that she couldn't be there, based on what their kids had chosen. Though Martin offered to have June driven anywhere she wanted to go, June called out to her daughter, knowing she was probably eavesdropping as she had always done when she was little. Martin whispered for Smitty to call Naomi, as June promised she wasn't there to break up the family. She realized that Samantha and Tyrell seeing their bio mom again must have been akin to an earthquake. Assuming Samantha could hear her, June went on to say that, during their reunion, the girl had looked at her with the same fear she had when June used to come home high. She just wanted her daughter to know she wasn't going to scare her anymore, then prepared to leave. But Tyrell and Samantha lumbered downstairs, telling June to have her say and go. Naomi called Regina, asking her to be on the lookout for June. Then Jacob beeped through, having heard that June had headed to Martin and Smitty's. Jacob wanted to join Naomi there, but Naomi thought it would feel less confrontational if she went alone. June sat down with Samantha and Tyrell and assured them that, just because she had given birth to them, it didn't mean they were going to turn out like her. The grumpy Tyrell was incredulous to hear that he had gotten his math skills and edge from his mother. June wanted the teens to know that there was no addiction on either side of the family. Her descent into drugs had been her own doing. Finishing, June stood up to leave, but Samantha stopped her. "You had to be a good person to give us up," Samantha conceded, though June didn't like hearkening back on that decision. The girl reasoned it had been significant that June had kept a photo of them. June stated she didn't have it anymore because of an accident. Both Martin, Smitty, and Tyrell agreed when Samantha wanted to give June an updated picture. June knew the rapping at the door meant the arrival of Naomi and acknowledged that she had to leave, but at least she knew the kids were safe and loved, and the kids knew they had a mother who was proud of them. "Nobody has to remind you how beautiful you are," June imparted. "You just make sure they never forget how smart." Smitty and Martin wished June well. June took one last look around and followed Naomi out the door. Martin and Smitty were proud of the teens and how they'd changed their minds about allowing June to talk to them again. The siblings agreed that getting closure without anger or guilt had been beneficial. Samantha added that they would probably see June again when she was ready. Back at Orphe Jean's with Jacob and Naomi, June rocked the couple by asking if it was still possible for Jacob to find her a bed at a shelter, the offer she had refused when they'd first met. June also wanted a job, notifying the marrieds that she actually did have skills. Jacob remarked that June seemed to be planning something. Naomi became concerned when June said she wanted to be prepared for the inevitable day that her children needed her in their lives. Eva came home with coffee and found Leslie dressed up. When Leslie declared that she now resided in the land of milk and honey, Eva joked that Leslie sounded like the nouveau riche who spoke in bad English accents. Leslie remarked that the smile she couldn't wipe off her face was actually genuine, but Eva's smile faded as she learned that Leslie intended to see Anita, since, without Anita, Leslie wouldn't be coming into Barbara's money. Questioning why Leslie was in such a rush to meet with Anita, Eva felt that Leslie would be better served by getting into the details of her inheritance with the lawyers. Leslie had a document to show Anita, but she wouldn't tell Eva what it was. Miss Thomas recounted how Peaches had raised her when Barbara hadn't wanted her, and she was grateful that Peaches had brought her to this moment. Leslie proclaimed herself reborn. Eva wasn't sure she liked the reinvention and was concerned that Anita would let Leslie have it for what she did to Nicole. Leslie crowed that, without her birth mother, Anita wouldn't be a celebrity. Eva understood that Leslie wanted Anita to teach her about Barbara, but asked her to tread carefully. "Why start now?" Leslie replied. "They are not ready for Miss Leslie," she trumpeted, telling Eva, "I finally got mine and they are going to pay," making reference to the Duprees. At the Dupree mansion, Vernon shared Anita's disdain when La Dupree announced that Leslie was gracing them with her presence. Anita had only allowed the visit so they wouldn't be caught off guard, like they had been when Leslie ambushed them following the Richardsons' anniversary debacle. Vernon was sorry he couldn't stay and chaperone, but Anita assured her husband that she could easily handle Leslie alone. Vernon cracked that maybe Leslie wanted Anita's autograph, since, at the Articulates concert, Leslie had been so close to greatness. Vernon let Leslie in, excusing himself, but not before he knowingly told Anita to keep things brief, because they had a thing later. Once the former senator departed, Leslie purred that she had arrived, and wasn't leaving for a long time. Anita was surprised to learn that Leslie was an Articulates fan, but was taken aback when Leslie revealed that her favorite member was Barbara. Leslie commented on Barbara's video tribute, saying that it seemed like the surviving singers all loved her, even with the bad blood that had existed for years. Anita got tired of the lead-up, prompting Leslie to fume that Anita had kicked Barbara out of the group. Because of Anita and her treatment, Barbara had killed herself. When Anita balked at the accusation, Leslie gave her an opportunity to tell Barbara's story. "You owe me that," Leslie seethed. Anita retorted that she owed Leslie nothing and wouldn't elaborate further. Leslie reaffirmed that Barbara had committed suicide because she was tired of fighting Anita, who always had to have her own way. When Anita commanded Leslie to leave, Leslie frowned that she wasn't as easy to get rid of as my mama, which stunned Anita. Leslie waited for acknowledgement from Anita that she was Barbara's daughter, but the singer was not forthcoming, at least not until after she had her attorney confirm the DNA connection. Leslie proffered her birth certificate as further proof. "I would have known if Barbara had a baby," Anita spat. "You are nothing like her,"